think I'll unmute myself before I start talking this time. Welcome back to the Band the Wave podcast. Glad to have you back. First time doing this on a Tuesday. I think when Andrew and I first started doing this, we said the schedule might get weird. We might do it 7 times a week. At some point, we might do it 1 time a week. At one point, we got it once every 2 weeks, and now we're randomly doing it on Tuesday. Andrew, great to have you. I know it's 8 o'clock where you're at, but it's 7 o'clock here in Omaha. As long as we're going to compare things that we're dealing with, it's 53 degrees here in Omaha.
It's 53 degrees in my room, so.
Okay, I just turned the heat on for the first time. It's October 21st.
When?
I'm chilly. I'm not a cold guy. Like if it's 50 degrees in February, I'll be wearing shorts. It'll be I'll be out tanning. But there's something about that first cold of the fall that actually gets me, and I hate it because I love the fall. The fall is the best season of the year. But when it's cold in the fall and not just like chilly, but like actually cold, I get upset.
Yes, I agree.
Wow.
I love the cold.
Well, you live in a place without seasons, so you don't really know much.
But I went to a school that had seasons. Kind of.
Okay. Whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, the weather, in fact, is not the only thing we're talking about. It might be one of these weeks if we continue at this pace, but it just so happens that we have potentially the biggest news in recent college baseball memory. If this happens, I don't know of a time, and if you're at all following college baseball, you know what I'm talking about. If you're watching us instead of listening to us, before I even switch the slide over. But it's Tony Vitello and the Giants situation. If you follow college baseball, you are aware of this possibility. If you are a college baseball fanatic, you are probably watching, as we all watch, where you have certain reporters who are very close to the Tennessee baseball program doing excellent work that borderlines on like psychotic, that reminds you a little bit of college football, where you have these people who are now keeping track of Tony Vitello's to-do list each day, where he goes and participates in a golf outing, as they should be. Good job on them, but it's really fun to watch. And Andrew, I know you hear more about this than I do. I wish I had more plugs near Tennessee in this situation because it's fun to watch, but I'm no more than a fan, whereas you actually have some sort of insight on this situation.
So when I got this news, and when I reported it, I was not expecting this to blow up as big as it did because, let's go back a couple weeks ago when the Athletic first reported that Tony Vitello is linked to the Giants as a potential wild card. I knocked on a source's door, and I called them and I said, "Hey, Tony Vitello, is that actually real?" And they're like, "Yeah, we haven't met with him yet, but there's a possibility we can maybe talk to him." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting." A couple weeks go by, 2 weeks go by. Wednesday, very funny story actually. Wednesday, I'm scrolling TikTok. I come along MLB Network's Greg Amsinger, his TikTok and his 9 candidates, and his number 1 candidate was Tony Vitello. And in my head, I thought, "Oh shit, this is still happening." I go talk to the same people, and I actually reached out to a few more people, not just one. I reached out to a few more, and they said, yes, there's a possibility this might be done by the weekend. So I kept my ear on the ground. Saturday afternoon, I got the news saying, hey, he's offered the job. From what we heard, it's going to be a yes. As of 8:09 on Tuesday, October 21st, he is still the head coach of the Tennessee Volunteers. Also, I did make a big mistake. When I did write my tweet, I put head coach of the Giants.
I noticed that. Yeah, that's
yes, a lot of people, the people that called me dipshits, that is actually very well. I don't have any hate for that. That is very
you deserve it.
Because I kind of looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, fuck, you are a dipshit for making that mistake. I expect better from you. But yeah. So the latest updates today, I mean, I just said it, as of 8:10 now, he is still head coach of the Tennessee Volunteers. He went through today. He went through his scrimmage. He went through today like normal. He threw a baseball up into the stands to the Tennessee fans that showed up today's scrimmage, which our CBC's Jake McKeever made a very great point. Tennessee fans cannot call LSU fans unemployed anymore because the amount of tweets, Instagram. I didn't go on Facebook. I don't check Facebook. Don't follow me on Facebook. The amount of stuff that I saw on Twitter and Instagram saying, "Oh yeah, skip work, family emergency. You need to get out to Tennessee scrimmage right now and start a We Love Tony channel." I'm like, what? Like, do you not have jobs? Like, I understand if it's students, yes, that's okay. But I guess like it hit me. It's like, wow, they like it really does mean more than the SEC. But
are people not allowed to take time off, Andrew? I don't know what your vacation situation is. I work in
no.
a place that offers vacation time, and I go defend my head coach.
It's Tuesday, October 21st. We're at the point. This is on day 3 now, so Saturday or day 4. When Jeff Passan from ESPN said this is going to be resolved in 24 to 72 hours. When I heard that, it hit me, and I, again, talked to my same sources saying they announced it on Saturday for a reason. Saturday, there was no postseason baseball, and I said this to you, and I said it to a few other people. There's no postseason baseball on Saturday. Sunday and Monday, they let him think on it. They weren't really expecting a decision. And from what I heard, they were expecting a decision today or tomorrow. At this point, I do not think we will get a decision by tomorrow. And that's not me using insider info. That's just me being me. And the more I've talked to some Tennessee fans, some Tennessee reporters, and the more we've talked, we're like, we think he's staying at this point. And you don't drag this on. Like, the job's been offered. It's more of just like, does Tennessee's going to come to the table and make him the highest paid college baseball coach? But does Tony Vitello really want to make that jump? This is Tony Vitello who's never played professional baseball. He's never coached professional baseball. This is a huge risk for him. And I saw a lot of great points today talking about job security. He is one of the coaches. There's 3 head coaches right now. Top 3 head coaches with the safest job security right now: Jay Johnson, Brian O'Connor, and Tony Vitello. And Tony Vitello and Jay Johnson are probably neck and neck with how close they are in job security. Even with all the rumors about Danny White, their athletic director, and Tony Vitello potentially not liking each other, I'm not going to confirm or deny that. It's not on, there's no outside rumors. It's really on if just Tony wants to take that next jump, because we're talking about potential baseball history here. I think if anyone, I've talked to some D1 coaches today about like the possibility of this, and they said he's one of the only guys that I really think deserves this opportunity.
Deserves is such a funny word. I just feels like it's almost 2 different sports. I think I don't know if it's the most different between when I think of the NBA and college basketball and the NFL and college football. It feels like Major League Baseball and college baseball are just different, even though they're on paper the closest in terms of, I don't want to say talent, because I don't think a college baseball team is going to beat a Major League Baseball team. I'm not saying that by any stretch, but you see these guys work their way through the minor league system, like a guy like Paul Skeens, and a few years ago, the Brandon Finnegan out of TCU, who pitched in the College World Series and then pitched in the Major League World Series a few years later, or a few months later. I don't know how that works for coaching. Obviously, we've never seen that before, but it is a weird thing. And that's the biggest thing for me. Is you had told me earlier that maybe there's a promise of more roster control than traditional managers, not head coaches, Andrew, get in at the major league level. But even then, how can you trust that when you have so many hands in the bowl? The thing I said at the beginning of all this was professional sports is player driven, whereas college sports are coach driven.
Yes.
At Tennessee, you are the guy. Tennessee is Tony Vitello. Every time a Tennessee player waves his hands in the air as he hits a home run, they're saying, oh gosh, look at what Tony Vitello's culture is like. When a player in the Giants does something obscene, that Giants player is going to get suspended and nobody thinks more of it if that's what happens. But the thing I keep coming back to is the timing of all this. And I know that you've kind of shot me down, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's always weird when you hear the news. I shouldn't say weird. Typically, when you hear so-and-so team or so-and-so program is closing in on hiring coach A, B, or C, obviously usually just one coach, Coach A. It's normally a few hours later and the deal is done, if that. Sometimes it's minutes later when they say, all right, it's official. Whereas this has been several days at this point. And you say that it's intentional with the timing of the postseason. I guess I'll take your word for it because, again, Major League Baseball, not my specialty. I watched one game this year and I was in a seat for it at Fenway.
And you did the wave, I heard.
Did not do the wave, would never do the wave. But the longer this goes on, it feels like he's going to stay at Tennessee. They have an exhibition game. I think it might be this weekend. It might be maybe early next week, but it's coming up.
Next week. Because that would be causing a whole big uproar at this point.
Who's going to be in the dugout for that? And I think that feels like the absolute – it's not a regular season game. It's not opening day or anything, but that feels like a benchmark for who's going to be coaching this program next year. And it seems like the universal opinion is it's going to be somebody in that dugout right now, whether it be Frank Anderson or more likely Josh Elander. But the timeline doesn't make any sense to me. Even the original announcement, why did they leak that at all? Who leaked it? Who's responsible for Ken Rosenthal tweeting that? It makes me feel like there's something ulterior at hand, and I don't know what it is.
So the thing is with that, I said this to you privately, and I said, why would Ken Rosenthal, if Ken Rosenthal leaked this out for, Danny White's sake, let's say the athletic director or someone in the athletic department in Tennessee leaked it out to make Tony look like the bad guy, why would they do that? There is, if you go on Tennessee, the dumpster fire of Tennessee Twitter right now, you would think that Tony Vitello and Danny White want to box each other, which that's been proposed on Tennessee Twitter. You tweet one thing about Tennessee baseball and you suddenly just get sucked in that vortex. But all we know right now, this isn't a Lane Kiffin at leaving Tennessee. There's going to be, I should knock on wood if this does happen. If this does happen, this might be bigger than the Tennessee Lane Kiffin issue. But as of today, he has not left yet. The more that we wait, I think we both agree on this. I think every really big college writer, I don't know how major league writers think. I could probably ask a few. I could think about it, but I think the more we're waiting, I think the more likelier he's going to stay. And I don't think it's going to come down to a money thing. I think it really comes down to, does he want to leave Tennessee for a whole new opportunity? This is a guy that he's from Missouri. You're talking about a central kid, a Midwestern kid. Well, he's not a kid anymore. He's a guy, Midwestern guy. You force him to go to San Francisco, which Noah, I don't know if you've ever been to San Francisco. San Francisco and Knoxville, Tennessee, two ends of the spectrum. Yeah, I don't think it'd be very interesting. We've mentioned job security. If he goes to San Francisco and doesn't succeed there in maybe 2 to 3 years, the Tony Vitello experiment's over. Who says he even gets through 2 full years? I did see something, though, that said Tony Vitello probably went into this interview and said, I can beat the Dodgers, and that's why he got, I can help build this team and help defeat the Dodgers. I do want to talk about one thing, possibly, if this does get finalized. I'm going to pull up the name. What just happened?
While you're doing that, I'm just going to say a sentence out loud. If you're a sitting head coach in college baseball and you have aspirations of coaching at the major league level, you're obviously never going to publicly come out and say that because there's no reason to say that. But
yeah,
if you would like to share that, with us, we would love to hear it, because for me, it feels like two different sports. It feels like, and again, if this is your dream, I'm sitting at home doing this for $0 while I have foregone making dinner after my 8 to 5. So that's the position I'm in. You're a head coach, and my light is flickering. That you can't make it up, but you're a head coach at a Division I program, and you are living the dream because you worked very hard to reach this point. But for me, you don't go into college coaching hoping to reach major league coaching. Light got fixed, or major league management, I should say. So it just doesn't connect with me. But I'd love to hear why I'm wrong.
The name Quentin Eberhardt. If you've been in obviously you've seen Tennessee with in Omaha. Do you know the big guy that walks with Tony V everywhere? Like literally everywhere.
Well, I would imagine it was the name you just said, but I would
it's Quentin Eberhardt, the director of baseball sports performance. If he does get if this does finally get through, I do expect him to potentially go to San Francisco. As I literally someone like joked about it today on like a message board, and I thought to myself, no, that is Tony's right-hand man. Everywhere Tony goes, Quentin is right behind him. And I got to have a quick conversation with Quentin in Baton Rouge this last year. Nicest guy ever. And if there's someone that I would love to succeed outside of D1 baseball at the major league level, it is Quentin. And the way he's developed this Tennessee baseball program with Tony, there's no Tony Vitello success without Quentin, in my opinion. So,
well, kind of jumping off that, kind of not. Again, with all these head coach openings across the sports, college sports, that is, usually, you hear, oh man, he's got to convince his wife and his kids, and you have to pull your kids out of school, move them across the country. Tony Vitello doesn't have that, which on one hand you think is a luxury in his position. He doesn't have to feel the guilt of potentially moving your family across the country, telling your kids that they have to make new friends at a new school, and saying there's no guarantee this is going to work. You hear that with college football coaches all the time come December when jobs open. Tony Vitello doesn't have that. And on the other hand of that, he has nobody to bounce this off of. It is a Tony Vitello decision only. He, of course, has parents and other family members, but there's nobody else that's moving with him. Is going to be a push or pull factor.
I do got to give Tennessee fans and some of their reporters. I'm going to give a big shout out to Mike Wilson. Mike Wilson's been on top of this. Let me actually check who he writes for. I know I think it's the Knoxville. No, that's not him. Stop it. My phone is acting up. He works for Knoxville News Sentinel. He's been on top of this. But Tony, the rumors have been going crazy today, where we've had an alleged hot mic with a Tennessee reporter saying that Tony is so torn on this. He's been thinking about the decision the last hour in the hot tub. Just a little. I do got to say, Tennessee fans have, I think, gone over the ledge a little. We're at the point now where Tennessee fans, one, have found my address. Guys, I just report the news. Tony Vitello is not choosing to go to San Francisco Giants because I happen to tweet something out. Two, Tennessee fans have now resorted to making fake Giants accounts and blowing up like, oh, we don't want Tony. No to Tony. No to Tony.
I've seen some of those. Those are good.
The thing is, so there is an alleged Tony Vitello Twitter. I don't know if it's him, but
it's not.
Okay, it's not him. But like, why are they acting like this? Like, going on Twitter is gonna act anything about Tony. I've talked to some coaches who like log off social media throughout the season, and like that one doesn't like this isn't gonna change anything. Tony Vitello might have a flip phone for all we know. Well, no, he doesn't. There's a photo of him using or walking with a regular phone. But I think I don't think it's a money thing. I think it's maybe like him wanting to challenge himself to like, okay, look what I've done at the college level. Let's see what I can do at the major league level. So obviously I'm I'm gonna keep my ear to the ground. I'm looking forward to. I'm just looking forward to seeing where Tony Vitello is going to be coaching, because you know what's crazy about this actually? If Tony Vitello can go from working to being on vacation because the major league season's over. So
Yeah,
maybe that's my hot tub.
that is an interesting deal. I don't know. The whole thing still doesn't feel quite right to me. I don't know. But like I said, it's really not my area of expertise. It's obviously nobody's going from college to the pro level, but I, this whole thing, it just stinks the more it goes on. And if you're going to tell me that there's a decision made in the next 24 hours, I don't know how Tony goes through that process. You said maybe it was leaked that he's sitting in a hot tub thinking to himself. I don't necessarily believe that. Think about some of the bigger decisions that you've made. Obviously, they're not as big as
on a radio show this morning.
Yeah, I don't think he's sitting there and every time he gets alone, it's crossing. I'm sure it's crossing his mind, but I don't think he's sitting there making a pros and cons list in his head. There's more to it than that, and we won't know his process. I would imagine that he's methodical in the way that he's doing it.
I will say this: if I want to play poker with any college baseball coach, it would be, or no, if I don't want to play poker against anyone in college baseball, it would be Tony Vitello, because his poker face is very good.
Like, I think that's a requirement to get into coaching, but there are certainly some better than others. So I agree with you there. I'll go Jim Schlossnagle as well, just for the because you have to.
The guy met in the cemetery. I don't think Tony Vitello was meeting in a cemetery. He met openly at a Colorado Rockies game because he was at Drew Gilbert's major league debut. The last thing I'll say on this, because I know we want to move on, we don't want to be talking about Tony Vitello forever. I'm going to give a shout out to Buster Posey. This is like a very big swing for him. When I was watching the Greg Amsinger video, actually, all the candidates were like either former teammates of Buster Posey or just former Giants. And he said he doesn't, like, there's a good chance that he doesn't want to have to do that because of all the like hearsay about, oh, he's just hiring a former buddy and he's just going out of the box. Like, I got to give him props for wanting to go after Tony Vitello, who, I mean, I don't want to say he's invented modern baseball, but he has changed the game of college baseball for the better.
Absolutely. He is completely changed college baseball. I don't know how long it's going to be changed for if he leaves right now. I don't know if Tennessee is going to maintain this identity. I don't know if you see even youth baseball players who are carrying themselves like Tennessee baseball players now and look up to players like Drew Gilbert. I don't know how sustainable that is after just a few years, but certainly college baseball has a lot to thank Tony Vitello for. And I think that if he does go to the Giants, you are definitely going to see some Tennessee fans who are mad, but they have no right to be. Tony Vitello won Tennessee national championship and has done a lot more for them than just that. He has no right to get any flack if he does go on to manage the San Francisco Giants. And some people said, you mentioned job security earlier and the risk. Theoretically, doesn't work out of the Giants.
Arkansas should be open by then.
Yeah, it feels like Tony Vitello would find his way back to the college game, and you certainly don't want to burn that bridge if you're Tennessee. I don't think Tennessee fans are capable.
Well, so that's the thing. That's the thing. I think Tennessee fans have gone a little over the top here. Oh no, have I lost Noah? I think I've lost Noah. Or is it me? No.
Andrew, let me just say that anytime somebody does a hotspot on their phone and uses it for internet, they should plug the phone in case the phone dies.
Oh, is that okay? Okay, I'm sorry for everyone that froze up. I got scared. I'm like, oh no. Did the reporters get to Noah? They're trying to take Noah down since I'm in a hotel this week. But I'm going to say this. I do think Tennessee fans have gone a little over the top with this. Tony Vitello has like rechanged your program for the good, whether it's Tony Vitello coaching on game one or Josh Elander or Frank Anderson coaching game one. I don't think there should be any hate for Tony Vitello if he does take this job because of what he's done. I don't think there should be anything negative being said about Tony Vitello. I think some of the hate has been unwarranted. Yeah, I think it's actually kind of disgusting what they've been talking about. Like, this is a guy that's kind of poured everything into, like, I mean, like, he's kind of living the dream. He's a single man getting to, like, coach one of the best baseball teams in America. Like, he's built this place from where it was to, like, now it's mind-boggling. And he hasn't had to have, like, any pressure of, like, a family. Like, he's been doing this to, like, satisfy himself. Obviously he doesn't publicize his personal life. So props to Coach Vitello, but I do have a lot of respect for him on what he's been doing. And yeah, I think the Tennessee fans, like, I think it's kind of bad what they've been doing, because they've been making some other college fan bases, or like some even pro fan bases, look like decent fan bases. Like, this is kind of bad. They make it like, okay, I don't want to make this comparison, but like they're kind of making like Eagles fans like look decent, and Eagles fans throw batteries at Santa.
That's a stretch I'm not willing to meet you with. Eagles fans are a brand of their own. My final closing thought, and it just slipped my mind, so hopefully it comes back to me as I finish my sentence here. Not coming to me. It was something really, really smart and relating to Tony and his legacy. But I 100% agree with you in the sense that Tennessee fans have absolutely nothing to complain about if he goes. That's what I was saying when my internet cut out. So I will be listening to that to see if you were just taking words out of my mouth, because I am curious if you just patronized me there or not, Andrew. But yeah, I 100% agree that Tony has done far more good than he will potentially do bad if he does leave to go manage the Giants. And like I said, possibly before I cut out as well, he'll have the opportunity to come back to the college game if things don't work out at the pro level. And there's always that potential.
Yeah, but like I said, the more and more this decision drags on, I think he's going to end up ultimately staying at Tennessee.
As I said earlier, I agree. I remember what my closing comment was, so now I'll actually say it. My closing comment on this ordeal is, if Tony ends up staying at Tennessee, I might lose sleep over the conspiracy theories that run in my head on who leaked that to Ken Rosenthal. I know you don't think it's as crazy as I seem to think, Andrew, but it feels like when that normally comes out, it's, oh, by the way, yeah, that report an hour ago is true. We have hired him.
So it wasn't just Ken Rosenthal. It wasn't just Ken Rosenthal. It was the original. It was the original writer of the Athletic job that linked Tony Vitello to the Giants. Andrew Bellahani, whatever his name is. He's a Giants reporter. Thing is, he doesn't use Twitter. He's on Blue Sky, so it's not like he's the one putting in updates unless he's putting it on Blue Sky. There's another female reporter as well. It's Bella something. Let me see if I can find Ken's tweet. But it's Bella. Sorry, you can continue on your thought.
I'm just always skeptical of the initial bomb comes out and the ripple effect of, oh yeah, sources are confirming this. I always get nervous when all of a sudden people start confirming things.
Brittany Ghiroli, something like
that. Okay. In theory, anybody can confirm anything from somebody else, and it'd be like, oh yeah, must be true. So it's very scary when you start this ripple effect of, oh yeah, I asked my friend over in the subway line, and he said he heard the same thing. Well, where did he hear it from? Ken Rosenthal. So I'm worried of that kind of thing. I think when there's personnel who are close to the Giants and that kind of thing, and people who are close to Tennessee and that kind of thing, okay, I can buy in on that. But when
And then
I'm
there
not
was
going
game
to throw
four.
Armstrong under the bus here. When Pete Nakos confirms it, where did he really hear it from? I don't know.
No. We're not
He's
going
a
to
national.
yeah, but I'm not going to get in my on 3 and Nate goes.
I'm just very nervous about and it's not an on 3 thing. I'm just very nervous of the echo chamber of things like this when it's a big breaking news. Yeah, in 5 minutes, everybody who wants to hear about it has heard about it. So you call somebody would say, "Oh yeah, I heard about that." Well, where did they hear it from? Probably Ken Rosenthal's tweet. So I get a little bit nervous about that concept because if you want to hear news, you will hear news, and you'll get some confirmation bias, and it's very scary that we live in this system where Tony Vitello could have theoretically leaked this for bulletin board material. Who knows? I love the conspiracy theories. I'm already getting into it. I'm going to make you a list of them, Andrew. If he does not go to the Giants, I think that there was something fishy here, and I want to know what it was. But I know you won't buy in with that on me, or buy in on that with me. So.
I'll make a tinfoil hat if this rolls over into the next week.
Please, if this goes on another week, this was 100%
another week. The Giants just need to okay, let's talk about this. We're not a Major League podcast. We're College Baseball Central, not Major League Baseball Central. At what point though do the Giants move on? This is rolling into day 4, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday's day 5. And when do you think the Giants just say, "Hey, sorry, we're on to the next guy"?
For all we know, they are on the next guy. If you're going to buy into the conspiracy theory with me, they gave up on Tony a while ago, and somebody just leaked this for fun. That's always a possibility. Usually, there's something there if there's truth. But there's a situation here where this was all a setup, and we all fell for it. I'm not there yet, but I will be if Tony does not take this job, because it's such an odd rumor to come out and say, yeah, they're closing in on him. And then it'd be, well, actually, I'm staying at Tennessee. We all think he should stay at Tennessee, but it just stinks to me.
Yeah.
Well, Andrew, with that engaging 35-minute, or it was more like 30-minute conversation on Tony Vitello, I had my Super Bowl last week.
10 minutes.
What was that in?
10 minutes short of what I predicted. What did I say to you? I said 45 minutes of talking Tony V, last 15 scrimmages.
Well, before we move on to scrimmages, my Super Bowl occurred last week. The Big 12 schedule was finally released. If you follow me on Twitter, that's at @NoahDarling_. You've seen me beg and plead with the Big 12 to say, look, Big 12, we know that the schedule exists. Why don't we just release it? Had received some word, and some other people had heard similar things, that it was going to come out on, I believe, it wasn't the 17th. It was the 15th. So last Wednesday. And other people had heard that, and then we just didn't know a time. So there were a few people that I was talking to who were sitting there scratching our arms, waiting for this Big 12 schedule to come out. Is it going to come out from the Big 12? Is it going to be every individual program? Who knows? Finally, somebody said it's going to be at 2:00. And I'm like, all right, 2:00, popping the popcorn. All of a sudden, there's a buzz in the air, and the Big 12 schedule comes out, and it's magnificent. I don't have a full rundown of my favorite and least favorite conference matchups just yet, but I will say that there was something I was on pins and needles for, and it finally became official. TCU at UCLA, February 20th through the 22nd. You could say, call me the Giants with Tony Vitello. I am closing in on booking a flight out to Los Angeles for that series. I will have a newborn at that point, coming 2 months from today, and 2 months after that will be at UCLA, allegedly with this newborn. No better way to be introduced to the college baseball world for baby JoJo than
Wait, what?
TCU at UCLA, possibly
Wait.
the battle for
Baby
the
JoJo.
number 1 draft pick.
I thought her name was gonna be Katie.
Middle name, of course.
Katie Anderson.
Of course, yes. Kate Anderson, the College World Series most outstanding player, does have the name rights to my child. The birth certificate might say one thing, but everybody else will know Katie Anderson. darling. But don't let it distract you, Andrew. Do you have any thoughts about the Big 12 schedule drop? I know that it's overwhelming when we're talking about, 14 teams dropping a schedule or coming out together and saying we all play each other mostly. But the non-con was what I was more so looking for, at least immediately.
Well, so TCU's schedule, I've known about TCU and Tulane playing a series in Lupton. I've known this for a little while now, but I'm very excited for TCU. I think TCU, obviously with a potential number one pick, Sawyer Strassander, I think they're going to be phenomenal this year. I think they've got a very competitive schedule. Obviously, the potential number one matchup of Sawyer versus Rock, that's going to be something to watch. But yeah, if you told me that Noah was going to win this battle of getting the schedule released, I'm surprised that Big 12 didn't give you a shout out. We talked about Kansas a little bit last week, so and how their lack of base running. Could we see a change in that this year, Noah? I'm just messing with you, but I think. Let me pull up their schedule actually right now.
If you're looking at Kansas' schedule, I can almost recite it to you, but I would say that
phone right here. Kansas actually got a pretty strong schedule. At UT,
I'll pause you right there. They can do better. They can make a better schedule, and they know it.
Yes, anyone can, but I like the schedule.
I'm with you. I like it. I like the subtle toughness.
You're just trashing
them.
But
I want to see a Power 5 versus Power 5 series that isn't a Big 12 conference matchup in there, and not Minnesota either. I want to see some juice. Get somebody at the Hog. That's easier said than done, but give me some zest.
So at UTRGV, so you're playing the top two seeds of the Southland, or not the top? Yeah, no, yes, no. You're playing two of the top three seeds. Two of the top three seeds of the Southland, UTRGV and Lamar, to open up. And then you're playing McNeese State, who Coach Hill has a phenomenal program over there. He's been running a program very well. Minnesota, you kind of hit on it. They're playing that at U.S. Bank Stadium.
They are, with a day off in there. There's a day off. I don't know what's going on at U.S. Bank Stadium.
Concert. Justin Timberlake's probably playing
it's a 4-game series taking place over 5 days. I don't know what the event is, but I'm certain they will have boots on the ground at that event.
And maybe then St. Thomas in the Horizon? No, they're not in the Horizon. They are in the.
They are in the Summit League. St. Thomas, good program.
Yes.
St. Thomas has amazing facilities.
Yes, ever since they've made the transition to D1, they've just hit the ground running. That's a very fun one. Also at Legends Field. Are you going to make the trek for that one? That special game?
Well, that one, so I'll let you in on the secret with that one, Andrew. Last year you saw Kansas play a couple games in Wichita. I know that they played Omaha there among somebody else. The reason they do that is because, for whatever reason, Kansas Athletics does not allow the baseball program and the basketball program to play home games at the same time. So when you have those non-conference Saturday games, they have to find somewhere to go because they align with home basketball games too. And they will now be playing at Legends Field, the home of the Kansas City Monarchs, I've been made aware of. And that's something you'll continue to see on the Kansas schedule, finding unique places to play games on Saturdays every once in a while during basketball season, or crossover season, as we like to call it. I don't know if you do that, but I do.
Well, the thing is with Kansas fans, you gotta be able to hit both. You gotta hit those fans. You gotta want them. And I think Coach Fitzgerald, Coach Fitz did a very good job with this last year with getting the incentive of getting fans out. You gotta hit the fans. You gotta be like, hey, Michael, hey, Becca, gotta get them out there. You gotta want them to be out there. I remember, the fans, the student section stormed the field last year.
Yes, that was against Omaha. That was their first win.
So it's if you hit those, like if you hit the fans, if you be like, hey Becca, hey Jerome, like you got to get out here. Like we incentivize like the students, and it's like I think Miami does a very good job of it actually with their student section, and like with the deals they have in place for their students, just being able to draw students out during basketball season, especially if it's like, so Saturday is a big day for basketball, especially in the back half of the season, where I think Big 12's on Tuesday and Saturday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday,
with Big Monday mixed in.
yeah, and yes. So like being able to incentivize the students to come out, to incentivize your fans to come out. I think Kansas is like really like I'm really excited to see the schedule like come out. Or not come out, it's already out, but I'm a little mad that they don't get to come to Orlando, play UCF. Their midweek slate's actually pretty good. Creighton, Wichita State, a midweek against non-conference opponent TCU. They host Missouri. They host Sacramento State. A really I think it's a really good midweek slate, especially with them going to Lamar and facing Will Davis. I'm trying to think. Oklahoma State's schedule I thought was kind of iffy, if you ask me. What were your thoughts on Oklahoma State?
Yeah, I hand up. I haven't studied Oklahoma State's too much. Again, I haven't looked too much. Let me pull it up. I can quickly get that pulled
up. I'll tell you their first 6 games. They have
they started in the Shriners Showdown, so that's immediately, and it feels like Oklahoma State's there every year.
So they got Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Vandy. Those are 3 schools. 2 of those 3 schools will probably end up in the top. All 3 schools will probably end up in the top 8 of the SEC. Then they go to Grand Canyon, which Grand Canyon, it feels like at the beginning of the season, they are always they're always hyped.
Yep.
Midweek against Central Arkansas, Sam Houston, which should build some confidence. Missouri State is not a guaranteed win. Missouri State, they have a potential number 1 pick that no one's talked about yet in Caden Bogenpole. Bogenpole is projected top 15 this year, but in my opinion, I think he should be talked about in the top 5 as well. Gardner Webb, which I think
Missouri State has an arm, Andrew. Before we move on from Missouri State, who am I thinking of? They have a really quality starting pitcher.
Missouri State?
Yeah. This is kind of a deep pull. I don't know if you're going to be able to help me out with this one.
Do you know the name?
I knew it at one point.
I'm going to check right now just for you. Pitching.
Okay. I'll continue to go down the.
No.
Is it Curry
Sutherland? Is it Curry Sutherland?
I don't know. Who led them in wins last year?
It was probably Jason Schaaf. From what I remember, their pitching wasn't that great last year. They should have.
They had a guy he recorded a ton of strikeouts.
That helps. Oh wait, I can just view it in the PDF.
I'm closing in on it, Drew. If I beat you to it.
82.
Tyler Charlton.
Tyler Charlton. Yes.
He's good. He is an exciting pitcher to watch. I know he pitched in scrimmage as well against Drury. They do take on Arkansas State in scrimmage this weekend. That's some insight on Missouri State for you that you didn't sign up for, Andrew.
Well, I love to hear about Missouri State baseball, so please feed me all the Missouri State information you got.
Of course. Shout out incoming transfer Braden Gunn as well.
Yeah. They did lose some transfers as well. They lost Zach Stewart to Arkansas.
Well, it feels like we have to pick a new program in the Missouri Valley to keep our eyes on after Oral Roberts and Murray State have made national noise. Maybe it's Missouri State.
Missouri State was it felt like they should have. It felt like they went to a late season skid last year. So, okay. let's continue on. Sorry, a little off track there.
Well, they also have Dallas Baptist, Gardner Webb in the non-con, Andrew, and
Yes.
then I looked
Sorry.
in later on in the midweek. They do go at Missouri State. Good on us to mention them. They also go
Bravo.
host Oral Roberts later on in the year. Otherwise, conference schedule is very as expected. Nothing wild. I don't think they have any tough stretches. I guess TCU and Arizona State is a tough back to back, and you have Tech before that. We don't know what they're going to be. Feels like they're due to break out. You play Kansas State in back to back weekends with Cincinnati, who I think is the definition of a Cincinnati baseball team. They're going to be scrappy. I don't know how good they're going to be, but they're going to be a tough out.
Yeah, their
so I
big
think
question
that
mark. Their big question mark is pitching again. I mean, everyone saw it last year. Everyone saw it last year in the Tennessee Regional, where them and Wake Forest literally were just an offensive juggernaut. It was an offensive juggernaut matchup. So they
on the other hand, Andrew, I know you're talking about pitching depth. They do have maybe the best frontline starter in the conference in Nathan Taylor.
Yeah, and that's from development now. That's just from development.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it is.
Okay. Yeah. But we can't rip Cincinnati's pitching staff and then also not mention how great Nathan Taylor is. So just have to walk that line carefully.
So Cincinnati starts on the road at Jacksonville State with a midweek appearance at Auburn. Then UAB as well for a 4-game series against UAB. They hit Ohio for their home opener against Bowling Green. And then they have a 3-game series against Austin Peay University. Midweek against Western Kentucky. They have UC San Diego as well coming in. That'll be a fun one. Evansville for a midweek. And then for Big 12 play at BYU. Wait, what? Oh, okay. They're at Utah, and then they play a midweek against Utah Valley, and then they host Utah at home. And then they have the Joe Nuxhall Classic where they host they go to Xavier. Then they host Kansas. They have Wright State, Oklahoma State, Baylor, UCF, West Virginia, Houston, Big 12 stuff. I don't want to single-handedly repeat all their schedules, but I think the Big 12 is just going to be a really fun conference this year. I think it's going to be we're going to be looking at kind of, I don't want to say SEC levels of how many teams they'll have in, but I do think they are going to have a surplus of teams in.
Yeah, the Big 12 was a great league last year. I'm sure the conference has a chip on their shoulder because if you'll recall, they got 0 host sites.
Yes.
Some people argue that they should have gotten as many as 3, at least 1. Arizona won the Big 12 tournament. TCU came in second, and Kansas was in the mix to host as well as nearly a regular season champion. West Virginia won in the regular season as well. So that's 4 teams who certainly had arguments to be a top 16 team in the country. And it felt like TCU had a lot of momentum in the postseason and couldn't quite carry it out. Kansas kind of raises their own hand and says that they ran out of gas. Whereas teams like Cincinnati put up a really interesting fight in Knoxville because you mentioned all the offense. They also won a couple games, and they were a really tough, fun team to watch. Kansas State is another team with a lot of talent that they were streaky at times last year, and they snuck in the NCAA tournament. Coach Pete Hughes will say that they should have never been near the bubble, but they sneak in and they played okay in that Austin regional. Oklahoma State was a team that came on late and was playing really, really good baseball in the Big 12 tournament, or at least right before it, and they eliminated Baylor in the Big 12 tournament as well. West Virginia, tremendous program that's become a bit of a development program as well. Texas Tech, what are they going to be? TCU is a national power. I kind of mentioned them already. I'm sure there are several programs I'm forgetting, but I really enjoy Big 12 baseball, and I'm glad that you, from your SEC pedestal, are at least pretending to pay attention.
Are you planning to see UCF soon? No. No, I'm very busy actually. I'm not at my home right now. I'm at a conference in somewhere in the world. Um, and then I'm heading back to Louisiana this weekend to see Tulane. I'm going to be at Tulane Thursday, and then I'm going to be at LSU over the weekend. Um, a little, it just planned out that as I am going to see my buddies, I am going to also see the LSU get their rings.
Mm.
And that leads into another thing.
Night game
Or,
in Baton Rouge.
huh?
Night game in Baton Rouge, so I've heard.
Oh, lovely. I get to, yeah. We're not here to watch. We're not here to talk football.
Well, you did a little bit of a peek into the fall scrimmage situation, Andrew. You are going to another one. That sounds like multiple, perhaps. Um, you were also at Florida Atlantic and Miami. I myself have been dry of baseball since my last trip to Lawrence a couple weekends ago. Getting ready to get back into it myself, but what are your observations of a Miami team that I've seen some national buzz? That's a team that it looks like this is their maybe coming out party, maybe.
Yes, I think that lineup for Miami, headlined by Daniel Cuvée, not heads up. Shout out to Monty Taylor. Monty Taylor is actually airing his interview with Daniel Cuvée as we speak. So hopefully we didn't steal any viewers from that. Sorry, Monty. But Monty, as always, I'll probably go listen to this tomorrow as I'm driving. But Monty's a great great person to talk college baseball with. So Daniel Cuvée will headline that Miami lineup. He launched a ball over the scoreboard onto the practice field right behind the Miami baseball stadium at Alex Rodriguez Field at Mark Lake Field at Alex Rodriguez Park. Cuvée parked a ball onto the practice field where the football team was probably running sprints that morning after they lost to Louisville the night before. So I think the lineup's going to be pretty fine. I think they are actually pretty deep with some transfers they brought in and some freshmen that they brought in as well. My main concern is going to be pitching for the Canes, as always. I think Miami's pitching is little right now. They're without, obviously, a UF transfer, Frank Menendez and Menendez and Alex Robert, who both had elbow surgeries. Not recently, but Menendez had his surgery in mid of last year when he was at UF. And then Robert, I think he was towards the end of the season. There was no updates on those guys, but I think the pitching is going to come along. I think Lyndon Glidewell from Austin, how do you say it? Austin Pay? Noah?
Austin P. It's easy to
Austin.
remember. It sounds like you're saying it wrong because you're saying P, but their official team hashtag is Let's Go P. It's easy to remember. That's not a joke.
Austin P. And Lyndon Glidewell from Austin P. Tate Darius was this guy that I watched throw. Where is my backpack, actually? It's over there, but I had a bunch of notes. They had a Richmond kid. Ryan Blitka. Ryan Blitka, he really impressed me as well on the pitching side of things for Miami. And then for the lineup, Daniel Cuvée, I've already harped on so much. Jake Dorn, he was a lefty that pitched. Thank you, Canes Cat, Heat 305. I think I know who you are. But Jake Dorn, a lefty. My main concern with him is his curveball. I thought his fastball changeup was very filthy. His curveball, it looks like he is just showing that pitch. Just like the moment you see it out of his hand, you just know it's an auto take. Now to the lineup. Vance Sheehan, they get him from USC Upstate. He's a local kid, actually. He went to me and him actually went to the same high school, just a couple years apart. He's from West Palm Beach, Florida. Vance Sheehan, he's fighting with the shortstop position with Jake Ogden. Alex Sosa behind the home plate, the NC State transfer, he looked very good as well. They faced FAU's projected number one. they faced James Littman, FAU's projected number 1 this year, and I thought the zone he got was actually really bad. He got a very bad zone, but I thought FAU's pitching staff looked very good against a very competitive Miami lineup. FAU, on the other hand, if you want me to talk about FAU, as I am probably the only, or no, we have Ashley. Ashley and I are our 2 American boys and girls, but FAU, they looked very good. This is a team that lost their top 3 players, top 3 players from starting pitcher Trey Beard. He transferred to FSU. MJ Bollinger and Jake Dewar, who both transferred to Texas A&M. So this is a team that got hit hard by the NIL era and the transfer portal, and they have a very respectable head coach and a very coach that's been in the game for so long, Coach John McCormack. He's still coaching. He's going to be coaching for a couple more years. Like, it's not just one more year, as I reported in my story. So I was very impressed with this FAU team. I still have some question marks for Miami, but FAU, I think, is going to compete very well in the he's going to coach very well, or not coach. They will compete very well in the American, and Miami still got some question marks.
If Jake Ogden is not the starting shortstop for the Canes, as somebody who doesn't know anything about Miami, I'd be floored. That guy was electric in the postseason last year.
He was.
I think back to Mike Farron, Ogden baseball. Feels like he was saying that every second. I am going to quiz you, Andrew, and hopefully Canes Cats Heat 305 can fill in some gaps here for you. Did you, when you were at the Miami scrimmage, run into anybody who may have survived a bear attack?
No.
Okay. Anybody with the swine flu? Maybe?
No.
Okay. Anybody who might be behind on child support payments? Maybe?
No. Not that I
Okay.
know.
You don't know anything about Miami, and that's going to be something that you have to get fill in some gaps. Danny Boy Kane is somebody that you're going to have to become familiar with. He's a friend
He
of
follows
the
me on
program.
Twitter. I know about Danny
Yes.
Boy. I know about Danny Boy. I know him because of Barstool more.
Yeah.
Well,
if you haven't seen the original YouTube video, you just search Danny Boy Kane on YouTube, and it's probably 13 years old at this point. It's him addressing message board rumors about himself, where they're saying that he survived a bear attack. He actually joined a College Baseball Central space one time, and he gets trolled on Twitter, and I don't know if he realizes it's trolling, but somebody said, we actually were lucky to be joined by Danny Bear Kane. He survived being attacked by a bear, and he was able to defend himself, and I was able to have a dialogue with him. It was a top 5 moment of my life. But if you're going to be at Miami games, you need to keep an eye out for Danny Boy Kane. I don't know if he attends baseball. Canes Cats Heat says he lives in Tampa, but if you find Danny Boy Kane, you need to do a one-on-one with him immediately.
So I will say this. The Miami student section. So with some SEC schools, like you have the Ball 5 chant at A&M, they do the bubbles. LSU, their student section, like they do LSU, but like their student section is mostly quiet. Miami's like student section was like doing chants. Like every time the pitcher got into ball 2, they'd be like, ball 2, woohoo! And I'm like, wait, no,
Yeah,
this is.
I'm gonna Venmo you to never do that again.
No, and do you know what the Miami Hurricanes baseball mascot is?
I assume it's the sturgeon, as is their mascot in other sports. Good on me to not say a pelican. I think that's right. Canes Cats Heat, am I right on that?
It's the Miami Maniac. Would you like to see a photo of the Miami Maniac?
That is ringing a bell, but yeah, I would like to see a photo.
Share screen. This one. Share. Is it on? Right here. That's the stage. Look at that thing.
Oh, okay.
That is scary.
Yeah, I'm all in on Miami, I think.
That is scary. I literally, I kid you not, when I first saw that come across when I first saw that come across into my eyesight, I literally said, "What the fuck is that?"
I'm very intrigued by baseball only mascots, or at least mascots that have the class to wear the baseball jersey. I understand that you can whip out the same mascot for every sport, change the clothes that the mascot's wearing, and I'm all in. So I really appreciated that injury. I did not know that, and immediately us relocating you to Florida is already paying off.
Yes, thank you for the massive pay raise. Um, Thank you for the relocation fee.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm happy to be back in Florida. What is this? Oh, what was I saying? I'm happy to be back in Florida. I am planning on going to the UF scrimmage in, I think it was 2 weeks, November 8th, I believe it was the day. They're scrimmaging Georgia State. So I'm going to be up in Gainesville for that. Where I am at in Florida, without leaking where I am, I'm about an hour 15 from Miami. I'm about an hour and a half from Orlando. I'm about 2.5 hours from Gainesville. I'm about 3 hours from Tampa, and my end goal will probably to be at the American baseball championship in Clearwater, where that is 3 hours away from me. So,
Hmm.
yeah, we're all good. Well, no, I'm not ending in Clearwater. I am ending in Omaha, at the Animal House, at Gorat's. So we
We're on.
still got a way to go.
Yeah, long way to go. But speaking of ending seasons in successful ways, LSU made an appearance at the White House in college football, college basketball, even apparently women's basketball. Not really notable, but I don't think a college baseball team has ever, other than the D2 LSU, fill me in on, was it Eunice or Shreveport, who
Shreveport,
went
LSU
59.
Shreveport.
They were at the White House, I think, last week, but
They
first
were there
D1
with
college baseball team that I've seen at the White House with Jay Johnson and LSU making an appearance this year. They did recreate the video that I don't know what Twitter account is, like College Football Hub or something, that tweets out the never forget LSU's legendary White House visit of them dancing with Justin Jefferson doing the, I don't even know what song it is, but there appear to be handguns involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. LSU baseball recreated that. If you haven't seen it, that is cinematic. I don't know if Jay had anything to do with that. I would imagine not, but um, I liked seeing it. It was cool. I hope it happens in the future. No matter who's president, it's not political at all, because it's cool when college football teams and college basketball teams go to the White House. It's kind of for no reason, but it's cool to honor teams who win national championships in more ways than, all right, you won, let's move on. I like seeing it a lot.
Actually, okay, time out. So, President Trump, when Clemson came to the White House back in 2017, I think, President Trump got the McDonald's.
Yeah.
I
That was because
wonder,
I believe the government was shut down then too,
yes,
and
I
he,
wonder
he
what
had to whip up fast food.
President Trump got them to eat. I'm gonna actually,
I don't know, because the government was shut down again.
I'm gonna reach out to someone right now, and I will. Let's see if they get back to me by the end of the show. I doubt they will, but I that just came to mind. So let me type
Well,
this.
who are you asking? Is it the same person that I could ask?
Maybe. Who are you referring to?
Jay.
No.
Okay, I'll ask Jay, and we'll
Yeah.
we'll see if
Well, yeah. Let's see who responds first. I'm just wondering. Okay, but I thought this was perfect. Because that video, I can put money. There's two people in my head that I know definitely made that video, and like that was their idea walking in there, and it was either Gavin Guidry or Michael Braswell. Because Gavin Guidry last year, he missed all of last year, but he still traveled with the team, and he was the head of their music box. I forgot what it's called. I don't do free ads anyway, so he would always have the music blaring for them. And Michael Brown as well. He was always like right next to him, talking it up with him, joking around with him. So I would not put it past those two to have been the ones to plan out this little TikTok charade for them. So I really enjoyed the content. I mean, I don't want to get too political, but LSU, Jay Johnson really hit on it. Excuse me. LSU really is the baseball capital of the world right now. So I think that might have been a little shot at someone who could be possibly making the baseball capital of the world, or the college baseball capital of the world. But I mean, Louisiana is the college baseball capital of the world this past year because of what LSU and LSUS did. LSUS 59-0. That's something unheard of. And then LSU winning their 8th national championship, second with Jay Johnson, second in 4 years, or second in 3 years. So, yes. So, like, when Jay Johnson said that LSU is the capital of the college baseball world, that should really, you want bulletin board material? That is it.
Well, I've said it before on this thing that we do. This is what, like our 5th, maybe 6th episode, something like that. And I've said it already, where anytime you give Jay Johnson a microphone in front of an audience, he will take that opportunity to recruit. Nobody's better at a post-game press conference after winning a College World Series game. When Cade Anderson throws 8 shutout innings, strikes out 11, he'll say, "Why on earth wouldn't you want to come pitch at LSU?" It's the first thing he says. And I can only imagine what it's like when Jay Johnson gets to share a space with the President of the United States and what his message is to everybody watching. I don't think Jay Johnson is the type to take out his phone and start taking pictures and say, "Hey, look at us. This could be you next year." But I'm certain Jay did that in his own way. The guy could recruit me, like I said before, to come play at LSU, who doesn't really get along with the LSU fan base, hates humidity, doesn't care for seafood, has never been to Louisiana. Again, the humidity would kill me, but he could get me to commit to LSU baseball. So I have no doubt that Jay is electric in those kind of environments. And I know that Coach Yeski tweeted that there was a lot of work that went into this, several months of planning. I don't know how every college football and basketball team pulls it off every year, if it's that much work. But baseball, you're traveling a lot more guys than you are with a college basketball team. But if it requires too much planning, that's fine. You don't have to do it. But I like seeing college baseball teams in the White House, just like college basketball and football teams. There are a lot of things that you can look at and say that college baseball has grown. That might be one of them. When you have a college baseball national champion going to the White House like other college national champion teams. So I appreciated that quite a bit. And like you said, Jay, recruiting, diamond.
Yes, I agree.
Very well said, Andrew. I have not heard anything from my inside source at LSU. They must have served quite the spread.
Well, it doesn't help that they're also at the governor's house now in Louisiana.
That's right. Do they have a dinner tonight or something?
Yeah, I just got the notification that they're at Governor Jeff Landry's house. So
yeah, that doesn't help. We did not time that up right, but we will hopefully get word on what was served to the LSU baseball team at the White House. Andrew, as we begin to settle down, anything else that you would like to touch on before we reconvene next week, whether it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, midnight, or 7 p.m. or anywhere in between?
No, just keep blowing up. If you're a Tennessee fan, keep making yourself look like a fool because you don't want your manager to leave for a better job.
But now you're getting them mixed up. It's still head coach, and then he'll be a manager if he leaves. But they're not making a fool of themselves at all. They're doing is keeping Tony Vitello at Tennessee. Every time you make a little bit of a scene without crossing the line, you can say that they maybe crossed the line, but going to practice and supporting their team right now is exactly what keeps Tony Vitello at Tennessee. And that's why I'm going back to it. I'm weary of the leak because there's no way that anybody associated with Tony Vitello leaked that, unless the goal was to not take the job for whatever reason. But
Actually,
somehow it came out. It came out with somebody who wants to blow this up.
Do you know who his agent is?
No.
No, you don't, obviously. I assume his agent, or not I assume, I've learned that his agent is the same college football super agent that was James Franklin, Billy Napier's, Lane Kiffin's. Like, there's two big college football agents, and Tony Vitello's agent is allegedly one of them.
Okay, interesting.
Yes.
College baseball almost feels like, so as an Iowa State fan, Iowa State's head coach for football does not have an agent. It feels like college baseball will be one of those sports that just doesn't have any agents, and you just have guys acting on behalf of themselves. But I guess when you're a superstar like Tony Vitello, and I know nothing about the world of sports agents, of course, but it's cool to hear these things. Like when Jim Schlossnagle left for Texas, it was obviously a national story, and A&M fans felt backstabbed, and Texas fans had another chance to rub it into what they call their little brother. But it's great when these things happen because it amplifies the sport. Right now, there are a bunch of Major League burner accounts that are paying a lot of attention to Tennessee baseball. That's good. Maybe they'll stick around when they start playing.
One last thing before we sign off. What has been a better, the reaction from this so far, or the reaction from the Jim Schlossnagle fallout?
The Schlossnagle thing goes exactly to my point. It happened so quickly. There was the smoke, there was the whispers, but you have A&M eliminated
quickly. It took 6 months. It took 6 months.
There was a little bit of whispers, but the reality is we're talking about the Giants' job opening to today has been longer than the A&M job, of course, because the Texas job opened, and a day later they hired Jim Schlossnagle, or maybe it was 2 days later, just depending on when A&M ended.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not talking about when the rumors started because who knows, but from open to filled that quickly. So while we can still talk about it and the buzz will linger, if Tony Vitello ends up leaving, there'll be some fire on Twitter the next day.
Yes.
Or I shouldn't say the next day, the day of.
There would be some mattresses on fire.
See, that's extreme. That you won a championship.
Lane Kiffin didn't win a championship.
I don't really remember the national outrage for Lane Kiffin. I thought that I know that he left them in a scummy way, as most head coaches do. But it felt like at the time, if I remember right, Tennessee fans really didn't care for Lane Kiffin at the same time. Whereas you have Tennessee baseball fans who would take a bullet for Tony, who would take a bullet right now for Tony.
Would you take a bullet for Tony?
He's on the list. If I were to create a top 100, I think he cracks the top 100.
Okay.
Well, that feels like a good time to end it. If you are the San Francisco Giants interested in hiring Tony Vitello, just go ahead and shoot me and save you the trouble. But Andrew, any closing notes before I click end on this thing?
No. Go support your college baseball team. If they're go enjoy your college baseball team. Like their team. Georgia's having 4 scrimmages this week. Go watch them. This especially if your college football season's already over. Just go tune into baseball.
Andrew, I'm going to call it the double negative. So you call out Tennessee fans for skipping work to go watch their baseball team, but you want Georgia fans to go watch theirs. It doesn't add up. I'm not even going to let you talk. I'm playing the outro. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.